sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on The Fact Today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives.
This is Transition News on Atlantic Television Network. Analyst says public perception of issues are inapplicable in law. Declarations are for injunctions, maintain due process as well as instill status quo amongst parties. Speaking on ATN Open Conversation Program, a social political analyst, Higher King, elucidated further.
Orders, they are not declaratory, they are not enforceable. It's just commentaries that was made by a judge. But for me, like I said, if a judge says I don't have jurisdiction, the next thing you do, you rescue yourself, you excuse yourself. You dismiss the matter or you send the matter. If it's a federal high court, if it is in the federal high court will transfer to the state high court or transfer to the appropriate court, but not to go ahead to make declarations and orders.
Don Okparaji maintained that public perception of issues is not applicable or as the same in terms of judicial protocol or interpretation.
In court, it's not where you go, it's not like a marketplace where you just go and buy and come out. The law will look at what is those things, evidences that will prove that these people are members or they are no longer members, even against what the general public have conceptualized. The general public have, in their mind, is these people are no longer members of the house because they have raised the card of the party, and then two, they have said we are no longer members. By virtue of what they have said, in the eyes of the public, they ordinarily have defended to the party. But what does the Constitution say?
Coming after River State High Court declared that the 27 lawmakers were still valid members of the River State House of Assembly because there was no proof that they had defected from the PDP to the All Progressives Congress. The court, its recent ruling, struck out a suit filed by Awosa Amadi and 3 others seeking to declare the seats of the 27 lawmakers vacant following their defection to the All Progressives Congress in December 2003. As Nigeria commemorates Democracy Day since 1999, which marked the nation's 25 years of uninterrupted democratic governance, as well as its rite of passage to becoming a true and enduring democratic society amongst members of the nation. Issues which possess a challenging and battling the nation following the inception of a government by people ranging from corruption, constitutional and electoral reforms, rising civil unrest, poverty, unemployment, insecurity and human rights amongst others. In view of the day celebration in Nigeria, stakeholders have expressed grievances and dissatisfaction as regards the relegated global status quo of the nation compared to other countries of the world in terms of industries, technology, mortgage, education, as well as national prospect and ratings. Speaking with residents on the state of the nation, Utibedov has the report.
I'm a part of a Bonava season of Nigeria. But I might not be proud of it when I'm in diaspora because our upcoming generations, they might not be happy when they sit and they are alive. Their father, or rather, we keep telling them things that have been happening in the past, right from our colonialists, our elites, down to the present leaders. There's nothing to write home about. No, you can't sit down, relax, and fold our hands. We need to do something.
It's nothing good, especially this period of the time. Nothing is working. So we are no joy for this democracy day.
Now, which is Nigeria, money is not our problem. Industrialization is not our problem. What we need is a good leadership. It's a good leadership, I must say it.
Of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has secured the conviction and sentence of 12 internet fraudsters before Justices Ijoma Ojukwu and Rosemary Owori of the Federal High Court sitting in Calabar, Cross River State. While Justice Ojukwu convicted and sentenced 11, and all the convicts were prosecuted on 2-count charges bordering on criminal and impersonation on social media platforms with intent to defraud unsuspecting members of society, barring Akpabio, Ukpai, and Peter, who faced 1-count charge respectively. They all pleaded guilty to their charges when they were read to them, following which prosecution counsel Joshua Abolarin and Mohammed Kamis prayed the courts to convict and sentence them accordingly, while defense counsel Tom Udeme, Francis Ezike, Innocent Eze, and Henry Iyipiayo prayed the court for leniency on the grounds that the defendants were first-time offenders. After listening to the arguments of both the prosecution and defense counsel, Justice Ojukwu handed in the basic good news, Victor Adams, Enang, James Nelly, Dede, and 6 months jail term on each of their 2-count charges, which is to run concurrently, and 6-month jail term to Peter and Ukpai on their 1-count charge, while Akpabio bagged a 1-year jail term with the option to pay 1 million naira fine from Justice Owori. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has advised some state governors against politics of bitterness, while encouraging youth to be criminals rather than becoming assets to society because of politics. The former president made the allegation at the official commissioning of the Edo State Civil Service Secretariat complex reconstructed by the Governor Godwin Obaseki-led administration. The former president also commended Governor Obaseki for improving the welfare of the state civil servants, while stating that before now, civil servants in the state go home monthly with salaries that cannot take them home. He noted that with the 70,000 naira minimum wage, the governor is now paying workers salaries that can take them home. The former president advised undergraduates to struggle to make first class instead of joining cold groups, drinking alcohol, and raping women. He advised them to always take their academics seriously to obtain good grades. He prayed that whoever succeeds Governor Obaseki as the next governor of the state would not let the people of the state down and will also continue from his predecessor's good work. Earlier in his welcome address, Governor Obaseki said his government embarked on the rebuilding of the secretariat because he believes that government bureaucracy must work if the state must make progress. Obaseki said the government must attract private sector investment, which was required to develop the state. It needed to upgrade its workplace, personalities, and capacity of public servants and the public service. Federal High Court sitting in Benin City has reserved judgment for July 19, 2024 on the legal tussle over the Edo State governorship primaries of the Labour Party conducted on February 23. ATN recalls that one of the aspirants in the contest, Kenneth, challenged the party's candidate, Olumide Apata, alleging irregularities in the process and issues with the personal documentation provided by Apata. Justice Babatunde reserved ruling for July 19 after parties at the suit adopted their written address. Now, he said the challenging nomination of Apata on the grounds that the Labour Party did not follow the Electoral Act, the constitution of the party, and the party guidelines in conduct of the primaries. Lead counsel to the plaintiffs, A. Malik San, in his submission, prayed the court to dismiss the submission of the counsel to Olumide Apata on the grounds that the first defendant violated the Electoral Act and the party's constitution, which he noted are critical elements of the electoral process. Malik also pointed out that his client has disclosed a reasonable course of action on the matter and urged the court to reject the submission of the first defendant, declare and return the plaintiff as the winner of the alternative, void, nullify the primary election, and order a fresh one. He alleged that the Labour Party primaries would were marred by overvoting contrary to the party's guidelines and constitutions. On his part, the counsel to the defendant and running mate to Akpata San submitted that the argument and submission of the plaintiff were baseless and could not be litigated upon the court. He argued that it was a pre-primary issue and as such should be dismissed by the court. Asama, while adopting all the arguments contained in his written addresses, urged the court to dismiss the position of the plaintiff, adding that it was an abuse of the court process. Four-story building under construction collapsed on Wednesday, June 12, at Dennis Memorial Grammar School in Onitsha, Anambra State. Several people were reported to have been trapped in the debris. The building, which was near completion, collapsed around 7:15 a.m. on Wednesday. Although no lives were lost, a source at the school expressed concern that some of the trapped individuals might not survive. Confirming the incident, Director of Operations DMGS, Sentare Chijoke Oji, described it as a irretrievable situation, citing possibilities of casualties. He, however, said efforts were ongoing to protect life and account for everyone around the collapsed building. When contacted, the Anambra State Chairman of Koren, Victor Meju, confirmed the collapse, while he said it could be as a human error. He said Koren would go back and conduct forensic analysis to actually determine the exact cause of the building collapse. According to the Koren boss, evacuation had started taking place as the members of the Police Command, Federal Road Safety Commission, Deputy Governor of Anambra State, and some state commissioners had stormed the scene. However, he was not sure of the casualties, but he told ATN that the site engineer told him that 3 persons were working at that building 2 days ago, adding that the phone numbers of 2 were not traceable as at the time of filing this report. Staff of the Abia State Ministry of Health, Maya, hailed the suspension of the Commissioner for Health, Ngozi Okoronko, by Governor Alex Otti on Tuesday. The suspension of the Commissioner, according to them, was a good step by the Governor, which also showed that he truly listens to the voice of Abia people. ATN recalled that Ngozi Okoronko was suspended over allegations of gross misconduct leveled against her. Meanwhile, the permanent secretary of the ministry, Dr. Ifeyinwa Kalu, and the special advisor to the governor on health, Ngozi Azodo, were directed by the state government to run the affairs of the ministry pending the outcome of the investigations on Okoronko. A visit to the Abia State Ministry of Health, Abia State Secretariat on Tuesday showed that some civil servants working in the ministry were happy with the commissioner's suspension. Some workers who pleaded anonymity for fear of being victimized claimed that their suspended commissioner was arrogant and unfriendly in her interaction with workers. However, the Abia State government has said that the commissioner would undergo investigations for gross misconduct leveled against her, but explained that she is still presumed innocent until the allegations are proven true by the outcome of the investigations. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State has declared that there is hunger in the country. Makinde said what is happening in the country does not reflect where the country and its people should be as a nation. He used the opportunity to appeal to the leaders across the country to create a framework to harness our potential through mobilization, sensitization, and advocacy. Makinde made these assertions while speaking during the signing of the executive bill establishing the Oyo State Mobilization Agency for Socio-Economic Development. The governor noted that his administration will continue to prioritize economic development in order to solve major challenges in the state. He used the opportunity to announce the appointment of a former commissioner for education in the state, who is a special advisor on socio-economic development, as the Director General of the agency. Makinde noted that the establishment of the agency is in line with his stance that the administration will not only be defined by the massive infrastructure it has built, but by the strong institutions it has put in place. The governor, while speaking further, maintained that a government can't win the people's trust if it does not clearly communicate where it is taking the people. Makinde further said that the agency will play a big role in the continuous mobilization and sensitization of various demographics in the state. Lagos State University Teaching Hospital has said it is on red alert and prepared to address the possible spread of cholera disease in Lagos. The management of the hospital spoke in response to the death of 5 persons and hospitalization of scores of others showing symptoms of the disease in Lagos, saying it has put its healthcare workers on red alert and other stakeholders on notice in readiness for the possible spread. The management of the state-owned health facility, in a statement issued on its social media handles, declared its readiness to manage the possible spread of the disease, saying precautionary measures in response to an outbreak have been set on course. ATN recalls that about 5 persons were reported dead and 60 others hospitalized from the outbreak of cholera in communities around Etiosa, Lagos Island, and Ikorodu in Kosofe local government areas of Lagos State. The Lagos State Commissioner of Health, Akin Abayomi, who disclosed this while reacting to the state surveillance report, said the state government had issued a call for heightened vigilance and the adoption of precautionary measures to prevent the spread of the potential cholera outbreak in the state. Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State says free and fair elections are the best way to honor the memory of the acclaimed winner of the June 12 presidential election, late Bashorun MKO Abiola, and other heroes of democracy. Adeleke said this in a statement by spokesman Olawale Rashid to commemorate the 2024 Democracy Day on Wednesday. ATN recalls that Abiola, the presumed winner of the annulled June 12, 1993 presidential election, was arrested while trying to insist on his victory and died in custody in 1998. The 1993 election, though annulled by the then military government, is adjudged to be freest and fairest so far in the nation's history. This prompted the change in the celebration of Nigeria's Democracy Day from May 29 to June 12, which the former President Muhammadu Buhari's administration did in 2018. Adeleke described free and fair elections as the lifeline of any viable democracy, acknowledging the sacrifices and struggles that paved the way for the current civil rule in the country. He acknowledged the sacrifices and struggles that paved the way for the return to civil rule in 1999. The governor called on politicians in the country to submit themselves to upholding the tenets of democracy by respecting the will of the people. Governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, has urged Nigerians to have faith despite the economic challenges they are facing, stressing that the country is still at the baby steps of democracy. Abiodun, while stressing the need to be steadfast and trust the democratic process, urged Nigerians to continue to support the government and its policies. The governor gave the charge on Wednesday during the Democracy Day celebration prayers held at the family home of the winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential elections, late Moshood Abiola, in Bagura, Abeokuta, represented by Deputy Governor Noimot Oyedele. Abiodun expressed immense pleasure that Nigerians are celebrating 25 years of unbroken democracy, which was laid by the late Abiola, and appreciated the federal government for setting aside the day, not just to honor the memory, but also to celebrate democratic rule in Nigeria. Abiodun added that his administration will continue to honor the legacy of late Abiola, particularly as he was prominent son of the state. He also pledged that his government would not relent in delivering the dividends of democracy to the people of Ogun State. The Honorable Minister of the FCT, Barrister Nyesom Wike, on 11 June 2024, commissioned 3.2-kilometer road leading to Kwali Township Bridge in Kwali Area Council of the FCT. The minister pledged more commitment to work in the Area Council to reflect renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. Our Abuja correspondent Joseph Moses.
For the 10th time, now at the grassroots of Kwali Area Council of Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Mr. Project, the Honorable Minister of FCT, Barrister Nyesom Wike, on June 11, 2024, commissioned 3.2-kilometer road leading to Kwali Township Bridge in Kwali Area Council of FCT. The chairman of Kwali Area Council, Honorable Danladi Chia, and His Royal Highness, the Chief of Kwali, Luka Ayedo, expressed their gratitude to Wike for extending the renewed hope of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, confirming that the 3.2-kilometer road project was awarded and abandoned for about 14 years ago, till Wike came and re-awarded the project and complete it in 3 months.
Once again, I want to thank you for giving us another road for the sake of the road that has been left for over years. Over years, that road And the former president Obasanjo went to that place to commission that road. Since Obasanjo, that road has been abandoned. We have lost hope. But the people of that area council, that road between Kwali and Kuje, we have gained hope for giving this road for another new phase. He said we are grateful to. And to say that we love you. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. I will end by aligning myself to the statement made by Mr. President in the last commissioning. And he said, Mr. Wike, you have provided purposeful leadership in the times of trial. We are gathered here. This is a testament of the fact that good leadership speaks and touches all.
The Honorable Minister of FCT, Barrister Yenson Wuke, while in his address, said that the FCT administration will continue to work towards ensuring that every nook and cranny in the Federal Capital Territory feels the impact of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, promising Kwali Area Council that there will be more roads to be constructed for them. Wuke named the road after the mother of Kwali community by the name Ladi Kwali.
His ambition, his vision is to make that Nigerians their hope must come back. And that is why we have done what we have done today. This is not the only road we are doing in Kwali. Yadama has announced the one that we are going to flag off soon. There's another one that's going on in Kwali too. So in essence, in this 1 year, this year alone, Kwali will have not less than 3 months. This was not like that before. Was it like that before? Was it like that before? Has hope come back? Has hope come back? Are you sure? You are sure? So, all we are talking is that Mr. President has brought back hope to all of us. Now, he has told me before the chairman asked, as if it was in my mind, a popular Nigerian, a popular Abuja person, a popular African who has always contributed to the development of Abuja. And therefore, it is very important that charity must also do for hope that this road be named Ladi Kwali Road. On that note, I invite all of us, the traditional ruler and the leaders here, the other council chairman, my brother David Junkuta, to join us at the House of Reps, to join us as we commission this Ladi Kwali Road.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Transition. Now the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu addressed Nigerians on the national broadcast on Democracy Day, extolling the heroes who fought to bring democracy to the country. He expressed his gratitude to Nigerians for being there for another Democracy Day celebration, adding that it symbolized 25 years of continuous democratic government. The president praised the persons who worked to enthrone democracy in Nigeria, mentioning their names with highlighting the country's transformation from a military dictatorship to a global democracy in 1999. The president emphasized that true democracy allows for freedom and liberty in daily life, promoting diverse perspectives and viewpoints through assuming unity of opinion or forcing conflicting ideas, recognizing the diversity of human experiences. He disclosed that democracy requires non-forceful resolution of differences, allowing for different views and promoting humility in leaders to serve the common good rather than imposing narrow interests. He acknowledged complaints of economic downturn and hardship while saying the reforms his government initiated will strengthen future growth.
As we celebrate the enshrinement of our political democracy, let us commit ourselves to the fulfillment of equally important counterpart, the realization of our economic democracy. I understand the economic difficulties we face as a nation right now. Our economy has been in desperate need of reform for decades. It has been unbalanced because it was built.
They are necessary to fix the economy. Tinubu also sympathized with the masses, acknowledging the current economic challenges facing the nation.
We celebrate the silver anniversary of our journey in democracy. We have studied the course. Democracy is neither a foreign nor abstract concept devoid of real-life meaning for us. Neither can we afford to reduce or minimize it to being nothing but the mere holding of periodic elections where one candidate and party outdo another. While elections attract democratic attention, they are but one aspect of democracy. Democracy is a way of life that encompasses a broad outlook of which elections are but a part. But a nation cannot be truly democratic without holding elections.
Has said that despite the challenges facing the nation, Nigerians have demonstrated remarkable democratic resilience in navigating the challenges, overcoming obstacles, and adapting to changing circumstances. In a statement signed by the spokesman of the House, Honorable Akintunde Rotimi, the House congratulates President Bola Tinubu and Nigerians across the world on the occasion of its Democracy Day and Silver Jubilee of Nigeria's Fourth Republic from 1999 until present. In his congratulatory to Nigerians, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, said this year's celebration is significant in the life of the National Assembly, as it also marks 1-year anniversary of the 10th Assembly inaugurated on June 13, 2023. The Speaker, who said that democracy has come to stay in Nigeria, acknowledged that the country has been navigating through the learning curves successfully, saying though it is not perfect yet, the country has continued to grow in democratic experience and practice, he added. He appealed to Nigerians across tribes and religions and genders and age groups to continue to contribute their quota to the group and development of the country, saying Nigeria promised. The CDS acknowledged the sacrifices made by the armed forces and members in various theaters of operation across the country, which he said was evident of their commitment to national unity and growth. He urged military personnel to uphold the tenets of democracy, safeguard citizens' rights, and ensure a peaceful and secure environment for all, while ensuring that victory is in sight against terrorism, banditry, and other forms of criminalities in the country. General Musa urged Nigerians to remain positive and support the military in the fight against criminality. Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, Dr. Tony Ojukwu, has decried the factors threatening the democratic process in the country. He also called on Nigerians to renew their commitment to the principles of democracy. Ojukwu, a senior advocate of Nigeria SAN, noted that with concern that elections are still marred by violence, ballot box snatching, killings, vote buying, intimidation of electorate, hate speech, and irregular elections into the local governments by state government. In a statement to commemorate the 2024 Democracy Day, Ojukwu commended the resilience of Nigerians in their quest for democratic governance, which according to him has clearly manifested in the repeated elections that have taken place since the return of democracy in 1999. While assuring Nigerians of the Commission's continuous intervention in strengthening the democratic process, the human rights scribe called on relevant stakeholders to join hands in doing all that is required before, during, and after elections in order to further deepen democracy in Nigeria. Analyst says the legacy projects across the region will enhance socio-economic livelihood of the people as direct beneficiaries. Speaking on ATN Blowout program, a social political analyst Mufasa Musan tasked the NDDC on the need for grassroots inclusion.
I want to still give this new board the benefit of the doubt. You know, if they have, you know, said that the abandoned projects of the past, that they want to complete it, they've equally reeled out some other projects that the commission intend to embark upon. I think it's a good one. My expectations is that the people of the Niger Delta should be the direct beneficiaries of all these programs that they have reeled out. You know, in as much as I know that a lot of things are currently being carried out, because I'm aware of the solar light.
Justice will be found at the huge sum earmarked for abandoned projects.
Actions,
and
they
this
say, is louder than words. What I expect from the NDDC, you know, the management is, let's see you start this work. Let people see what you're doing, you know. Then from there, you will be able to complete this, we'll be able to do this, we've done this, we've completed this. Not coming to tell us how much that be marked for uncompleted project. You know, it's embarrassing sometimes when, you know, management of this great institution come up to tell Nigerians that abandoned projects, you are still planning on how to complete it.
This is coming after the Senate had passed the 1.9 trillion naira budget of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) for the 2024 fiscal year. The upper chamber passed it after considering a report submitted by its committee on NDDC presented by Asuko Ekpeyong, its chairman. Former Kaduna Central Senator Shehu Sani says Nigeria's democracy still has a long way to go. Sani said there is so much hunger and hardship in the country amid the Democracy Day celebration. He was reacting to Tinubu's Democracy Day promise that his reforms will be fruitful. Tinubu had said the reforms he had initiated are intended to create a stronger, better foundation for future growth. There is no doubt the reforms have occasioned hardship, yet they are necessary repairs required to fix the economy over the long run so that everyone has access to economic opportunity, fair pay and compensation for his endeavor and labor. Reacting, Sani wrote on his social media handle, "There is so much hardship and hunger in the land. The earlier the reforms bear fruit and end the aggravating poverty in the land, the better, safer, and more peaceful our country will become." Former Kaduna Central Senator Shehu Sani. Faction of the Ijaw Youth Council worldwide has expressed concern over what it described as traces of military rule in Nigeria's democracy. The group also cautioned President Bola Tinubu against the incessant militarization of democratic governance. According to the IYC, despite the acceptable fact that the day June 12, 1993 had gone down in history as a day where Nigeria has experienced the freest and fairest election, the over-militarization of the country's democracy had become worrisome. And described traces of military rule in Nigeria democracy. The group also cautioned President Bola Ahmed Tinubu against the incessant militarization of democratic governance. Now, the RIC, through his faction national spokesman, Comrade Beckford, said the democratic rule in the country, there are still traces of military rule in its governance. He insisted that there are evident and repeated use of absolute power by the executive arm of government to dominate dissenting voices. Labour Party presidential candidate in 2023, Peter Obi, has urged Nigerian political leaders to return to a truly democratic nation. Obi made this call in a statement via his verified social media handle on Wednesday. The former Anambra State governor said democracy was beyond elections, but fulfilling the responsibilities of responsible governance as contained in the Constitution. He tasked Nigerian leaders to respect and protect the institutions of a democratic state by obeying the governing laws of the state and being accountable to the people. The statement was released to commemorate the celebration of Democracy Day in Nigeria. Obi noted that the creation of a true society for democracy to thrive is possible. The former presidential candidate also lamented some of the ratings, which according to him were indications that the nation is not truly democratic. And now in business, Nigeria Data Protection Commission has said more than 1,000 financial institutions, schools, insurance companies and consultancy firms are currently undergoing investigations for various degrees of breaches of citizens' data. This was as the Commission's National Commissioner Vincent Olatunji revealed that 4 major banks and 3 other institutions face sanctions and incurred fines totaling 400 million naira for infractions relating to breaches of citizens' data. Olatunji revealed this during an interactive session with journalists to mark the first anniversary of the signing into law the Nigeria Data Protection Commission Act by President Bola Tinubu in Abuja. ATN recalls that on June 12, 2023, President Bola Tinubu assented to the Data Protection Bill to advance privacy rights and other fundamental freedoms both in cyberspace and in analog transactions. The legislation allows Nigerians to seek redress from any form of data breach, stipulating that citizens' data is processed in a fair, lawful and accountable manner. Speaking further, Olatunji emphasized that the nation's data ecosystem has surpassed the value of 10 billion naira due to the multiplier effect of assenting to the bill. Organized labor has rejected President Bola Tinubu's claim that an agreement has been reached on new national minimum wage in his nationwide broadcast to mark Democracy Day. Tinubu had claimed that a consensus had been reached on the long-debated new minimum wage between the federal government and the organized labor in his national broadcast to mark the 2024 Democracy Day in Abuja on Wednesday. Tinubu revealed that an executive bill will soon be sent to the National Assembly to formalize the new minimum wage agreement. The president emphasized that his administration chose democratic approach over dictatorship in addressing the demands of labor unions. However, in a statement on Wednesday, the acting vice president of Nigeria Labour Congress, Prince Adewale, said there was no agreement reached by the Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage at the time negotiations ended on Friday, June 7, 2024. Adeyanju stated that rather two figures such as 250,000 naira from organized labor and 62,000 naira from the government and organized private sector were arrived at and ought to have been submitted to the president. The labor leader asserted that anything to the contrary was not only doctored but won't be accepted by labor. You're watching Atlantic Television Network Transition. Now in sports, Argentina Senate has narrowly, international news, Argentina Senate had narrowly approved President Javier Milei's controversial economic reform package, with the vote taking place as violent clashes raged between protesters and riot police outside Congress. Demonstrators who said the measures will hurt millions of Argentinians threw petrol bombs and stones, setting cars alight, while a number of people were reportedly injured, with local media describing the scene as on Wednesday as a battlefield. The reforms aimed at reviving the country's flagging economy include declaring a state of economic emergency, cutting pensions and watering down labor rights. The Milei, a right-wing economist, was elected in the midst of a deep economic crisis, which he's still struggling to stem after 6 months in office. Annual inflation is currently close to 300%, while more than half of Argentines are now living in poverty. The 328-article bill will now be surveyed point by point before its expected full approval on Thursday. India's foreign ministry says 40 Indians are amongst 49 people killed in a fire at a residential building in Kuwaiti's city in Mangaf. The fire broke out in a building where dozens of workers stayed, and videos shared on social media building and thick black smoke billowing from the upper roofs. Authorities said many of the casualties are from the southern Indian states at Kerala and Tamil Nadu, while 50 Indians have also been injured. Filipino and Nepali workers are also among the injured. Two-thirds of the Kuwaiti's population is made up of foreign workers, and the country is highly dependent on migrant labor, especially in the construction of domestic sectors, while human rights groups have regularly raised concerns over their living condition. Kuwaiti's Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Fahad Yusuf accused property owners of greed and violations of building standards which led to the tragedy. Leaders from 7 of the world's richest nations are gathering in Italy for a summit